Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back. We're doing it on Wednesday, August the 20th, 2024. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel for the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadri if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. If, wherever you're tuning in from, by the way, it's Wednesday. Let's get it going. Wednesday, wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, down south in the United States of the Americas, further down south, Mexico, South America, over there in Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, Senegal, Portugal, over there in the Congos, what's going on in Zimbabwe, Madagascar, of course, the Koreas, let's not forget the twins. Oh man, boys and girls, it's just Wednesday. Let's keep loose as a goose. I hope you're all doing well. If you're not doing well, then who's to blame? No one's to blame. Let's make you feel aight, somewhere in the middle. Like, we're not gonna make you feel really good, but we're gonna make you feel all right, at least. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, let's get a sip of this. It's Wednesday. I miss you all. I hope everybody's just fucking like sipping on sangrias and just sitting in a jacuzzi getting wrinkly and then going in some sort of a really just a freezer, just to freeze your nips off. But also I want you to like keep warm. But also it's school season's back in school. Like I believe it's September, and it's been a long time for your boy, but glad I'm out of that cycle. But nonetheless, to all the parentals and everybody else attending the schools and dealing with, and all the teachers out there queefing, hell yeah, let's get it going. The university professors, the college professors, teachers, everybody out there. Yeah, let's get right into it. I'm just gonna say this. I will say this, that each and every one of us faces many challenges on a daily basis. Some might be scary. Some might be a little bit, it makes you feel a little bit uneasy. But nonetheless, you face those challenges, you get stronger, better, faster for it. And that's what I did on this previous weekend. Thank you very much. Had a little run-in. Had a little run-in with a little teeny tiny, but not so teeny tiny spider. I'd say it was yay big spider. Just the size of a nice toonie or a loony if you're familiar with Canadian coinage. Right about yay big. Open the bathroom door, just, hairy motherfucker looking at me, just like taunting me. Typically if it's a small one, but this one was a little bit bigger than usual. If it was a small one, I might sometimes pick them up and like toss them outside, but sometimes I do kill them as well, just to send a message, just to let everybody else, let all the other spiders know what's up. But this one, I'm like, you know what? Before it was a big one, I'm not gonna like just let this loose and let it just taunt the neighborhood. So I'm like, let's kill it. But before I kill it, I'm like, you know what? Let's do a little bit of reverse roll. Let's reverse the roll, because this is the first thing in the morning. You wake up, you go to your bathroom, there's a giant spider, hairy spider staring at you. Just, God knows where it's been. Has it walked all over my toothbrush? Maybe. Did it poop in my toilet? Maybe. Did it come from the toilet? Where did it come from? That's the first question I wanted to ask. I'm like, where did you even come from? There are not many holes in the bathroom. I don't even know where it came from. That's the beauty of this, because there's literally like nothing in the bathroom that it could, unless the pipage or so, I don't even know. But that's, I turn the table, I say, you know what, spider, I see what you're doing here. We're gonna reverse it, see how you feel. So I made him take me back to his place of residence, his compound, and I got in his bathroom. I waited about 12 hours until his family members started like open the bathroom door, they get inside, and I'm sitting there on the floor just staring at little spiders like, kapow, in your face. Now, how does it feel? We weren't expecting an uninvited guest, were you? That's how it feels, family of spiders. And I just went like I started creepy crawling all over their bathroom floor, and I got up on their wall. They tried to catch me. I moved faster. They tried to trap me, then I'd fucking jizzed a little bit and I swung from it. Just be like, how do you feel when little creatures, you get in people's spaces, you start jizzing and just like bouncing off them. Like, so I'm jizzing and bouncing off their walls. Can't catch this, can't touch this. Get out of here, spider, is what I said. But before you get out of here, see how it feels. How does your spouse feel about this? Not so good, right? So that's what I'm, because in the future, you never know. Not that I've got a spouse right now. Damn, I don't even have a girlfriend right away. It's down the line. Because you hear ladies be like asking for help, and they're like, oh, I need a man who can open a can of pickles and also kill the spiders or remove the spiders and reach the top shelf. Well, just letting you know out there, ladies, but also gentlemen, that, you know, sometimes you got to reverse the tables. The moral of this little teeny tiny story is that don't ever let an animal make you feel uneasy, especially in your own bathroom. All right, so that's what I did, man. Yes, did I spend a lot of time in a spider's residence? Absolutely. Was it all sticky and whatnot? Yes. Did I see other creatures stuck in a corner? Did I help? No. I was there to send a message. That message was clear. You don't mess with the human beings. Fucking set her straight. So I don't know where it came from. I'm happy that it's over. I dealt with it, nipped it in the bud, and I feel good about myself. And again, that's something that made me stronger, better, faster as a human being. So I feel good about that. I wanted to share that with you and let it be a ray of sunshine and hope in your lives. If you're facing any difficult situations, just know that there is always the old reversing of the tables, putting yourself in another animal. Yeah, and I'm not gonna stop just that. Honestly, I've seen a couple of skunks now. It was cute in the beginning, but they keep showing up and kind of like farting outside the premise. It's kind of reeking up the premise sometimes. It was cute a couple of times, but now I'm taking it upon myself, and I will find out where these skunks are living, and I will go outside their home and just take a huge dump, or at least fart a lot, right? And be like, how does it feel, little skunk? How does it feel? Actually, I don't even know. I didn't run over one, I'll say this, but I definitely feel like one of my car tires definitely went over a patch where it was on the ground where a skunk had been hit. Classical hit and run involving skunks or other creatures. I believe my tire went over, because that's the thing. I pulled over at one point. I'm like, what is that? Didn't see nothing. Definitely didn't. But it was, I could smell it. I think one of my tires went over a little patch of ground that had skunk juice. So I was just driving for a little bit. I'm like, oh God, put the windows up. Then it's filling up the car, put the windows down. You smell some more, which is like no winning in that situation. Now I just got to wait for the rain to kick in. But again, moral of this story, do not let any animals fucking like strong arm you, make you feel uncomfortable. Reverse the tables, fucking put them in a corner, stare them down a little bit and start crawling up and down their walls. Make sure they know how it feels. Let's get a sip of this. It's Wednesday. I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, it's been far too long that we've advanced a fair amount in, humanity and technological advancements and betterment of just the overall human condition. One of the greatest inventions in human history has been the zipper that's been placed in front of our pants so that we could go outside, find a bathroom indoors. Really begs the question, why did you go outside if you're searching for a bathroom on the inside, man? But nonetheless, you find a bathroom on the inside, and the zipper is placed in front of your pee hole, whether you operate with a peen or a vag. Nonetheless, you got zippers, you got pants, but they're in the front, and that's great and dandy. Whether you're standing up, whether you're hovering, whether you're sitting down, you unzip the front and you pee from the front. That's fantastic. Makes everybody's lives easier. Great. But I asked myself, why not put a zipper or a hole in the back for the poop hole, which is why I went out there and I crafted this little pant myself. These pantaloons are gonna take the market and the fashion industry by a storm. It's gonna be shipwrecks all over the place. Zippers in the back door for your poop hole. No longer will people have to waste time unzipping the front, pulling their pants all the way down. Maybe not all the way. Sometimes people take them off. I've heard of that as well. I've done that as not in like, this is not a regular habit, this is not a regular routine, but on some occasions, right before a shower, perhaps you might just remove a pants and take a shit. You know what I mean? But you don't go to a public bathroom and remove your pants. Not to say that there aren't people who, that is a little bit, you know, I'm not judging, but also judging. I'm just saying the fact that we've got zippers in the front for the liquids, but no zippers in the back for the solids, that is a little bit questionable. A little bit on the, like, what are we doing here? We've got the tech, we've got the manpower. Hell, we've got it all. Why not make it happen? So that's what I said to myself. Put a zipper in the back. Make pooping extremely easy. Now you just have to unzip the zipper in your back, unless you're extremely obese, because you can't like reach around the back, which is, you know, maybe that's a little bit of encouragement for you to lose a couple. If you're obese, if you're like 500 pounds and you're like, man, these zippers, I see my friends just unzipping the back zipper and like taking a shit anywhere they like. Living the free life, you'll say that. I wish I could experience, you too could experience that, fam. If you just put your mind to it. Or like, get a couple of crackhead friends because they seem to be slim a lot of times. And then get on the crack, lose like 300 pounds, get off crack. Problem solved. And then that way you could enjoy the zipper in the back / poophole pants of it. But the future is here now. Let us not contemplate of how can we do this? What are the obstacles? Do we have enough resources? Yes to all of that. Yes to obstacles. Yes to resources. Yes to people who say, nay, that will never work. That's crazy talk. I say, that's what I say. No more wasting minutes, precious hours, removing your entire pants where you could just simply move the zipper up and down. Sit with style. You could actually sit on the toilet now with style, because that's the thing too. When you remove or when you lower your pants and you're taking a shit, not looking all that good. You know, it's a compromised position. It's like, do you have your pants on? It's actually kind of smart to have your pants off now that I think about it. Ultimately, if you were to get caught, you know, in a compromising situation and you're like, oh, I'm taking a shit and I've got my pants halfway around my knees or ankle, that's a recipe for disaster. That's how you end up in your own shit. You want to start jogging or running away or fighting or something, but then you trip and fall. Next thing you know, you're just munching on your own shits in the toilet bowl, which is no fun. Who's ever had fun doing that, munching on their own shits in the toilet? No one, ever, in humanity. So I'm just gonna say it. Yes, did it take me a long time to come up with this? Absolutely. Did I invest a lot of time and energy on it? Yes. Were there people who said, no, it's never gonna, it's, who's laughing now? We're all collectively laughing now, which is beautiful. And we're all better off for it too. So again, instead of being like, oh, I don't have time to, I can't go for a jog and sit down and remove my pants or lower my pants because it's just like, I don't have enough hours, there's not enough hours for the day. I don't have time to cook my own meals, you'll say that, because I spend a lot of time lowering and raising my pants because of the multiple shits that I take during the week. And I say, hey fella, hey lady, I get it. You're not competing with machinery to coming after your jobs, that's fine. The robots are right behind you and the animals are right in front of you. So I say it was due time that we got zippers in the back, and yeah, introducing poophole pants so you can shit in style and no one, you could be sitting on the toilet and nobody could actually know. Technically, we could remove the walls in the toilet stalls, in the bathroom, in the public bathroom. You could just, because people would be just sitting and, you know, you won't really see anybody's body parts. They'll just be like, you know, you see their pants, you know they've lowered the zipper in the back, they're definitely taking a shit. Wiping might be a little bit, maybe keep the bathroom stall walls. That's fine. That's fine. Keep the, but I'm just saying, if you'd like to get rid of the stall walls, you technically could. You technically could. Lowering the pants, of course, helps with wiping. There's now the bidet technology as well that's been going around. You're like, what if I get a little bit of shit on because like I wipe from front to back. What if I get a little bit of doo-doo on my pants, because it's like it is a zip. I've not removed the pants. If I get doo-doo on my pants, I'm not gonna lie to you, you probably will in the beginning get a little bit of doo-doo on your pants just because you're not used to it. Just because you're not used, but give this maybe like 6 months. If you could just put up with 6, because you gotta like develop a technique, because we're not you, because we lower the pants, you get enough room. You could wipe from the front to the back, from the back to the front. You could wipe side to side. You could wipe, that's European, I think. And yeah, the bidet, we're gonna need to get a little bit more precision with the bidet, you know, water distribution. We can't have it just like, it needs to be like laser precision. We're probably gonna need to use some red dots. Find your asshole, get a monitor, get a camera installed in the toilet bowl that's revealing to you your asshole, and where you need to just shoot a little bit of water to get rid of the remnant doo-doo particles. Press a button, aim right at the doo-doo, remove the doo-doo without actually having lowered your pants, and that'll save you, you know, seconds, perhaps minutes a day. But those are hours and perhaps months, maybe even years in an entire lifetime of approximately 80 to 100 years if you were to live that long. Talking about a few years of you just fucking now going out there learning new skills. Why? Because you could afford to. You could learn you could learn 3 new languages instead of lowering and raising your pants. So this is what we do together, bettering humanity one step at a time. Maybe it's not an easy task. And again, I ask everybody to just be a little bit patient. If your friends are walking around smelling like a little bit of shit, probably because they got a little bit in the back. Not gonna lie to you. Again, wiping situation, it's gonna take some time to get accustomed to, but nothing that we cannot conquer. I believe it's something that we can achieve if we just put our minds to it together. While we're on the subject of the shitter, I was thinking about toilets, because that's what I do when I sit down on the toilet myself. I said, how could we better this experience for everybody out there? What's with regular toilet seats? What's with them just being, you know, made of ceramics and friggin' whatever, just metal if you happen to be in prison, who knows what else. Like, it's just, and the look has not changed for a really long time. And I said, why do we have to be so uncomfortable sitting on toilets? Why not give the best experience to the everyday shitter out there? And that's when I said, who here likes comfort? Nobody was around, of course, but a whole bunch of people raised their hands inside my mind. They're like, we want to be comfortable in here. I'm like, exactly. And that survey fucking speaks for itself. So I said to myself, you know what, let's take the technology of the lazy boy and the toilet, merge them together, and create the all new, totally brand new, improved, not in the market yet. If you put it out, if you already put this out in the market and it exists, because I didn't take the time to look it up, we're coming after you. We're coming all over you. But the lazy boy toilet will allow you to actually sit back. You can actually lean back now and take a shit. A lot of people are like, oh, you gotta lean forward, raise your legs a little, like you're squatting kind of. I say lean back, put them toes out, curl your toes, and fucking like really let it just lay back, curl your toes like you're getting fucked. Just let it all out. Simultaneously, press a button, get a massage. When was the last time you got yourself a massage? Because you don't have time, I get it, you're busy out there, you're grinding, you're hustling, you're looking to start a family, you've started a family, I'm not a family person, I'm more of a business-oriented career kind of fellow or gal out there, which I gets it, because you're like, at the end of the day, I can always rely on my work will always be there for me, is what you're saying. I get that, I get it. And you'll have people who say, oh, at the end of the night, who hugs you at the end of the night when your career's gone over to hug you at the end of the night? Like, yes. If my career was my left hand, it'd be tugging and hugging on me all day, every day, you know what I mean? So, yes, not the same as a family, of course, but nonetheless, just as good, if not better sometimes. Or we're maybe even comparing apples and oranges, but let us not get distracted. This isn't the podcast of this, or maybe it is. Maybe it's the most distracted podcast out there. Taking a world record for most distracting podcast out there. But ladies and gentlemen, I say this, when you could be getting a massage, when you could be leaning back, when you could be just sitting on leather and shitting comfortably with maybe a few cup holders for your extra large drinks, do you really need that old school toilet in your house? Ugh! Treat yourself for once in your life. Treat your family members and friends when people open the bathroom door of your house. Let them come inside and be amazed. Let your guests go in the bathroom, sit down, take a shit, and get a massage and stay in there perhaps another extra 10-15 minutes. Because who can afford to get a little bit of a back rub while they're taking a shit? I rest my case. This one's a good one. Keep it out there. Patented, time-stamped, built right here together. Glad you made it. We did it together. I don't want to take full credit because we are in this together, I believe. Ladies and gents, it is high time we get going. Let's do this together, shall we? I've been thinking that perhaps regular traveling all around the world is probably easy and it's fun and you can walk places. You can fucking rollerblade if you like. You can skate. You can climb. You could, take the escalator to places. You could take an elevator. You could take the chopper if you like. You could take an airplane. You can zip line. But I say to myself, ladies and gentlemen, do we not deserve better? Is this not the time to really get our traveling updated and upgraded? Which is why I thought to myself, what is everybody's favorite mode of travel, which doesn't get the attention it needs, doesn't get utilized as much as it should? And I did a little bit of research. Grappling guns. Everybody needs grappling guns. Grappling hook guns, or just regular grappling guns, if I'm not mistaken, that's what they're called. Grappling guns will allow you to walk down any street, point to any rooftop, shoot at the rooftop, get a hook attached to the roof, and instead of having to go the traditional way of entering through the lobby, waiting for small talk and a little chit chat at the elevator, standing in an elevator with people just farting farting in the elevator, no more. And somebody, hold it, or you're about to get in, everybody's pressed their floor numbers and everything, and you're about to close it, you're like, we gotta make 3 stops, and all of a sudden you see a pregnant woman just wheeling her other kid in the wheeling around machine thing, stroller. Hold the elevator doors. And they'll say that, people will say that after farting, hold the elevator. There's a pregnant lady with another baby in a stroller. You gotta hold the elevator door. Now all of a sudden you gotta be like, I guess I gotta hold the elevator door for prego over here. God, pick it up, walk faster, fatty. You'll say that inside your head, of course. Or a really old man. Forget the old middle-aged geriatric prego who's freezing her eggs at 30. Forget that one. Maybe there's just an old wrinkly old fellow with a walker, just taking a sweet ass time. And again, 3-4 people have already pressed floors that you gotta make stops at so they can get out. God. Grandpa over here is fucking shimming, he tumbles and falls, and you're like, oh God, I just want to pick you up and like put you on my shoulder and like carry you to your destination myself. Forget walking. No more of that. You don't have to deal with that anymore. It's 2025 almost. Grappling guns will allow you to hook onto anything, latch onto any building, latch onto any window. As long as there's a little bit of place for the hook to catch onto, you're good to go. Climb your way up there, and that way you get your full body exercise and cut the line. Forget, again, waiting in elevator. The stairs, what are we, savages? Is this the friggin', is this the Bronze Age? Are we seriously doing this shit? That's when I said to myself, if superheroes out there, like the beloved Batman out there, could use a grappling hook gun to get to his destination, why can't we? And I tested this on the market. It's doing really well in Asia and Europe. I'm hoping that it'll make a breakthrough in North America as well. You're like, could anybody use this? Literally anybody. Anybody from, I haven't set an age limit on it yet, but I would say anybody probably between the ages, if you could, I say a newborn, 3-week-old to right up until 127, I believe, 130, 140. Let's push for that, by the way. Let's get a new old person in there with a breaking record of the oldest person and all that. But essentially, there are no age limits on this shit. You could just be, you could come out the womb and be like, oh, I wanna, instead, if the doctor comes up, flashes a flashlight in your eye and they notice that you're fucking like, what you got the fast twitch genes and you want to just fucking bounce and get onto your destination, they could just hand you a grappling gun and you could be a baby, and instead of asking your mom for a bottle or a tit, you could just be like, oh, grappling gun, and just shoot it and be like, right up top, cabinet, right there. There's the milk, there's the formula. I could just get there myself. Or your parents are downstairs, you're upstairs. Shoot a gun, grappling gun, zip line all the way down to your parents instead of crying all the time. And the parents have to now invest in walkie-talkies for their babies and leave it in the crib and hear the baby crying. And the tits are getting confused because way back in the day, baby would be far off in the distance, baby starts crying, tit starts lactating. That's how mothers knew. These days, because now you got technology corresponding with babies and tit, baby starts crying, one tit is maybe leaking, one tit is kind of dry, and keep flicking it, nothing's coming out. You're confused. Why? The point is that our mode of transportation and getting to places could definitely use a boost. And yes, public transport, buses, subways, they're all great. But again, you want to go out on a date and your babe's like, oh, I wonder where are you taking me tonight? You're like, the top floor of that top building, because there's a rotating the restaurant that fucking spins all around, 360 view of the city, and people throw up in that restaurant because really, when you think about it, moving and eating are not two things you want to combine unless you're like moving really slow, which doesn't really do anything outside of the fact that it confuses you every time you get up to go to the bathroom or you come back, you're like, where's my table? And the whole fucking floor is rotated. So you sit down at a different table, end up having a very wonderful conversation. You go home with a stranger, you cheat on your spouse or your partner or your girlfriend and your boyfriend. Overall, you still, go back and give a 5-star review to the restaurant. Did it make your marriage or relationship fall apart? Absolutely. Are you now conjoined families with, different mothers and fathers for the siblings of your already existing offspring? Yes, of course. But the moral of the story is that you could get to that rotating restaurant up top and throw up way quicker than those chumps downstairs waiting like idiot, like morons for the elevator or the stairs if they're crazy enough to take it. You're like, I want to visit the pyramids. You're like, I want to go to the top of the pyramid. Nobody's been on top of the pyramid for some time. The big one, the one in Giza. Pyramid of Giza. I want to climb that bad boy. I want to get to the bottom. It's slippery. The steps are steep. Some parts, get a grappling hook gun. Just shoot it at the top. Yank yourself up top. Take a quick photo. Zip line down. Nobody's the wiser. Eiffel Tower, same situation. Really, you could actually climb any tower or building. I'm not condoning climbing towers or buildings, but also if you were to climb a tower or a building, I say grappling hook guns are the way to go. Safe, practical, could fit in a purse or a briefcase if you happen to be a gentleman who carries a briefcase in 2025. You sus motherfucker, because who carries briefcases anymore? I'm talking like the old school 90s ones where men were still doing business and documentation meant something, or maybe it still does. Maybe I just not been around enough documents, but I'm just saying. I did see a fella yesterday who was dressed in all like he was suited like he was in the 50s, and you don't see that, but he was missing a briefcase, and for some reason I did want him to have a briefcase. Younger guy, I'd say probably early 20s, which made it stand out because he didn't really fill out the suit. It was a good suit. Had a hat too. Missing briefcase. Could have definitely upped the game. I don't even know why I brought that up. All I'm just saying is that grappling guns, way better mode of transportation than just waiting for the cab or getting in an elevator or waiting for the chopper to fucking, or you want to get in the chopper, instead of having them land, fucking have them just hover. Shoot the grappling gun, climb your way up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me once again. It's Wednesday. We're doing it, and I'll say this. Should prey animals be given weaponry? Because is it really fair for, let's say, a squirrel or an antelope, which sounds like a fruit, which again begs the question, should prey animals be given weapons to kind of protect themselves against predatory animals? Like, is it fair that a lion can just fucking go up there and like chill under a tree in Africa, see a deer or a gazelle in the distance, and just fucking pounce on this gazelle or deer without the deer or the zebra or whatever other rodents or animals happen to be nearby? They don't stand a chance. This lion or cheetah is just out there just doing predatory animal behavior, and the prey animals don't get anything except for, they only get away if they're fast enough. That's the only thing that they could use. But what if we change that? What if we gave prey animals weaponry? Maybe it doesn't need to be a gun, maybe a little knife, maybe a little pocket knife. Maybe just to be like, maybe just see a deer or a zebra just kind of chill a little bit in the sub-Saharan desert or jungle, wherever they happen to be. They could just chill, and all of a sudden the lion or the Bengal tiger could just be like, oh, I want to go sippy from this river. I see you across the river, zebra. I see how you play both sides with the stripes, the black and white. Pick a side already, zebra. I'm gonna get a sippy of this water in the river. I'm gonna pounce on your ass. Or at least there's a bunch of you. I want to get the slowest one out there. Now, for once in nature, you could just see a zebra or a bunch of zebras just kind of chilling. Just be like, yeah, that's us. Just black and white, stripe gang, put it up. We're going to just sippy on this side of the river, all relaxed, cool, calm, and collected. Why don't you, once you're finished sipping on the other side of the river, lion, lioness, cheetah, Bengal tiger, make your way down here, see what happens. Fam, now they do have hooves, I believe, or like little paws, I'm not quite sure. A mixture of hoof paw situation, but maybe just like attachable little knife, little pocket knife, just so that the prey animals could just, or a little squirrel or a little mouse, because they don't have any advantage. Like when they're just eagles flying by, hawks, other predatory birds just flying by, getting that fucking bird eye view advantage, and all of a sudden you get a little squirrel or a little fucking chipmunk, and they're out in the open field, no protection, no condom, STDs are just fucking running rampant around here. The point is, what if we were to equip them with a couple of ninja stars? What if we were to just because not all animals are equipped with their own weaponry. Some are, some give off his scent, some might have the speed factor. The porcupine is actually a very, that's nature's little assassin, defense assassin, that is. Part-time defense assassin, part-time acupuncturist. Porcupines, fucking great. You walk into a massage parlor, half acupuncturist, open a door, you see a porcupine just coming puffing up and tossing out needles, and all your body parts are getting stabbed, and all of a sudden you feel relief of pain and knots in your neck are getting undone and just you're coming all over the place. And they could make a living, they get around in the city, but not all animals are so lucky to have that mechanism built in. So I say to the prey animals, I'm talking about the chickens out there, I'm talking about a little cute little chicken in the wild, little wild chicken, a little fucking, you know what I mean? Just, because it's easy for a pack of wolves or a lone wolf to just be fucking roaming around like, or coyotes. And what about the prey animals? A little pepper spray, at least when I heard, you know what I mean? Because like, again, the skunk has got its own pepper spray, but what about, you know, smaller animals? Should we, if you like to see small animals, prey animals be equipped with some sort of a weaponry, maybe like a little net, that they could just kind of, if the lion is chasing, and just shoot a net and have the lion get caught up in the net and like fumble and fall, and like have the prey animal go step over the predatory animal for a second, spit on him, and then run away. And the good thing about animals is that they mostly all look alike, so the lion's not going to be like fucking remembering like which animal spat on me. Like I do recall a zebra, he's reporting to the police station, can you tell us what he looked like? Well, he had black and white stripes. It's about yay high black and white stripes. Can you define his features? You know, pointy ears, droopy ears, long nose. Again, black and white. Couldn't tell you really much else. I'm kind of colorblind myself. Not quite sure if they are or they're not. Definitely different variations of eyesight, I'll say that. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that I say, is it fair? And if it is, then so be it. But if it's not, let's equip these bad boys with a couple of fucking, you know, at least a little tiny, again, little baseball bat, a little teeny tiny baseball bat, just a little baton, so that they can whack their predatory animals over the head. Looking out for all animals together. We're doing it one step at a time. I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, that it is Wednesday. And if we were to ask ourselves a deep question, one that touches us both on the outside, but that also reaches within us and touches us on the inside as well. If we were to have our way with it, if we were to just have our way with it, if you had to gun to the head, katana to your nutsack, or your labia, that is, if you're femme, you have to choose ugliest face and the finest body versus finest face, ugliest body. Which would you choose for your partner? Think about that. Leave a comment. Because I had to think about this. What if she is, for my own experience, I'll say, what if she's got a beautiful face? What if you see her across the ballroom or the dance hall or I want to use the term discotheque, even though they're non-existent, but let's use the word discotheque. If you see her across the discotheque floor, ballroom floor of the discotheque. Club is fine, but discotheque just makes me feel something, I don't know what. So let's see, you see her, she's got the most, and it's kind of the lights, you got strobe lights, you got flashing lights, you got the smoke. It's kind of like lit up in the face space, but the bodies are, it's mysterious. A lot of people are walking by, different color lights are flashing, red, green, yellow, purple. All the lights are on and off. On and because that's strobe light, on and off. You're having a seizure almost. You see her face, it's beautiful. She's got a perfect, symmetrical, fucking beautiful, nice lips, not too big, not too thin. Nice, beautiful nose, beautiful eyes, 2 eyebrows, eyelashes for days, for weeks, months, eyelashes for years, hair, the way you like it. You know the way you like it, don't you? Hair, right there. And you're like, wow, that's the most beautiful face I've ever seen. I think I've fallen in love over here on the discotheque floor. And then you get it, and then you get close, and you're just fucking, the music's going on in the background. You just fucking dancing, maybe chit chat. I can't hear you. Let's just dance. And you're like, I can't. And you say back to her, I can't hear you. Let's just dance. And she says, I can't hear you. Let's just dance. And you keep saying this. Neither of you can actually hear each other, but you're dancing, having good company. You're dancing. I can't hear a thing you're saying. You look beautiful. I can't hear you. But let's just dance. And she's like, you're all, I kind of like your vibe too, stranger. But I can't hear you. Let's just dance. You'll say that. And nobody hears anything when you're dancing. Your faces, your eyes are fucking making contact and you're falling in all sorts of like, love, lust. Ugh, all of it dirty. And you're like, this is the one. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for a face like this for a lifetime. And next thing you know, a few hours of I can't hear you, let's just dance. Get out of the discotheque facilities compound. Abandoned warehouse in the middle of nowhere. It was a rave, actually. And you get out and all of a sudden the moonlight hits her body and her body is hideous. Hideous. And you're like, oh my God. Beautiful, with the most beautiful face, but the body is just, God. But what do? Do you rough it out? Do you say, you know what, it's the face that matters the most? Like the body is just grotesque. Let's say she's hunchback. She is 750 pounds on wheels. You didn't even know she was just gyrating on wheels. That wasn't her movement. You're like, how does she move like that? Wheels, fam. She's got rolls, just body rolls all over the place. You know, the beautiful thing about that is that if you happen to pursue that relation and take it somewhere private to see whether this like, lust, love thing can flourish and manifest into a long-term relation, you could, whenever the lights are off, and if you're only getting enough light to see her face, the rest of it is just, it's just nice, because it doesn't matter what it looks like in the dark. It's all squishy and wet, you'd hope. You know? If she's got a beautiful face, but a huge, just ginormous, just out of space, fucking, you know, double decker of a body, maybe. The good thing is that you could never, it'd be hard to lose her. Both for, because if she's got like an attractive face but a horrible body, first of all, I'm guessing it's going to be like difficult for her to move around, which is a pro. If you're like, I've been looking for a keeper. If she's humongous, she's probably a slow walker, which is great. Beautiful face might catch the attention of other suitors, but the body might be so overwhelmingly hideous that they'll be like, no thanks. And you're like, but in the dark, right? But that's a beautiful, fine face with a horrible body. Gun to your head, katana to your nuts. If you had to choose, which one would it be and why? Do you prefer the face or the body? Now, reverses of that disgusting face, just a horror show, just you know, knife stabbing in the background and sounds of screams and screeches, just people fucking being distraught at the sight of your lover's face, whether it's male or female. I'm just saying, doesn't matter. Hideous face, but the body is perfect 10. Perfect fucking 10. Ass, tits, banging. Nips, fucking great size nips. I'm talking, you know, not too big, not too small, not too dark, not too light. Ass, you could take a, if you're like, I'm the type of fella that likes to walk around and sometimes just lean on something and rest while she's fucking right there. You could just rest an elbow, lean back, and watch some rims spin on the background. I'm just saying, you could do a lot with an ass that's just out of this world. Tits, large, big tits, but not the kind that'll droop and get saggy in 10, 15 years. Think about the long-term investment. You're like, I like them double D's. Everybody likes some double D's, but there's no warranty on that. There's nobody you could take it to and be like, could this be lifted up? Or I guess there is, aren't there? There are doctors actually that do that. But you don't want to go down that road. You want the fucking perfect firm tits that are naturally firm and not sagging at all, or if they are at a very, very slow rate, they're sagging. Reverse seats for the guys too. If you happen to be like, man, his face, hideous, but the body is all jacked. There's a lumberjack underneath that suit, but the face is just, God, the amount of moles with other moles on top of it. Actually, he's got one mole. There's a face coming out of the mole. It's so, I don't even know if it's a face or it's just one. Maybe he's got neck, giant mole, tiny face on the mole. That's your man right there. A little bit difficult to look at, but the body, again, chiseled like a Greek god. But the face, again, similarly, I'd say lighting is probably the best tool to rely on. I would say adjust the light so that the lights are highlighting what you'd like to look at and kind of taking away your eye, or at least, distracting it from what you don't want to be looking at. It is a very difficult question. I know this one has been at the forefront of philosophy for really since the dawn of man. Would you rather have or for yourself, would you rather have the ugliest face versus ugliest face, most beautiful, chiseled body, whether you're male or female or whatever else is happening in between, if you happen to whatever, so you know what I mean? It's those, if you're merging with robots and machinery, if you're the very rare population that is trans, it doesn't matter. Do you wish to have a great, like, face is fucking great face, body disgusting, disgusting face, beautiful body? Which would you rather live with? Which would you rather have, either for yourself or a partner? Again, I don't care if you're male, female, anything else in between, half robot, half, you're fucking, you're taking furry to a whole new level. You're getting plastic surgery to look like an actual animal. I really don't care. What if it's like, I want to be a furry dog man? Do you want to have a furry dog face with that's grotesque, and a nice furry dog body that is like, oh, come here, let me pet you, little furry fella, lady? Or the reverses of that. Think about it. I do happen to be involved in a little bit of a competition out there. If you're like, oh, what kind of competition? This is the ultimate gunslinging competition, but it's not what you think. A lot of times people go for speed, accuracy, aim. I believe we just had the Olympics just passed, and it was a very nonchalant pistol slinger out there, the Turkish guy with no eye gear, just shooting fucking targets and all that, which is all great and dandy. That's pretty cool too, I guess. But the name of this competition is called the Slow and the Living, the ultimate slow and the living competition, which is for people who like to duel with guns, but do it extremely slowly. And the aim is not to actually hit your target, it's to rather see who could actually do it the slowest and end up with the least amount of casualties. So a typical gun slinging duel in the West would used to go, we're gonna meet at high noon, we're gonna get high and it's gonna be noon, and there's gonna be a little old school town with a saloon and a couple of hookers outside, and maybe a guy who owns a bar who may be nice or maybe not, depending on who you are, and a couple of sheriffs that are on the book but are also getting paid under the table for extra security for some bandits. They also happen to be the bandits because it's a small town, so they, pillage on one side, but also safety and security on another. They're good guys. They're just trying to make ends meet. All I'm saying is that was the old school method where you got there and you had a few seconds of pew right there. Fast. Quick results. One guy lives, one guy dies, or one guy lives, one guy's kind of injured, or both guys are kind of injured. But I say, take all that, reverse it, make it the slow end of living. I want to see you take a gun out of that holster extremely slow. Maybe not even go for it for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just maybe have your arm just kind of dangle on the side. Maybe just have your hand hover around the holster. Is he going for it? Is she going for it? Or she's thinking about going for it. I want to see beads of sweat rolling down your forehead, getting in your eye, and I don't want you to blink. I want that salty little bit of water to get inside your eye socket. The sun is hitting your forehead, it's warm. Your eyes kind of dried, so not blinking helps. The moisture from the sweat will actually moisten your little eyeball, which makes it nice to fucking look out of. And then you go for it extremely slow, and then you shoot, but extremely slowly, and the bullet comes out super slow. And your rival has enough time to just react, but extremely slowly, doing all sorts of dodging, but in slow-mo. And you do this for about 7 to 12 hours, and at the end of the day, whoever's injured loses. Whoever's injured the least wins, which makes it very similar to old-fashioned gunslinging, actually, now that I think about it out loud. All I'm saying is let's remove this speed. Let's remove aiming for the target. Let's just go for funsies and just remove our belts, or rather our holsters, or rather our guns from our holsters that are strapped to our belts, and become the slowest yet most living gunslingers out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll say this, that I like to, go out there and perform surgery. I do happen to be a non-licensed surgeon. The problem, or rather gift, that I have is that I actually have a weak stomach. I happen to projectile vomit into my patients as I'm doing surgery, but I tell you, the ones that don't die from bacterial infection take a long time for recovery, but when they make it back with the extra medicine that they had to take because they happen to throw up in their open bodies, they go on to live full, great, fantastic lives afterwards. And yes, it's a gift because I do have a steady hand and an eye for giving stitches. But at the same rate, the sight of blood, the smell of sick people, the sight of sick people, I've never really wanted to deal with them. You're like, why did you get into medicine? It was something I was good at, not something I wanted to do. But nonetheless, I didn't let the vomiting and the projectile vomiting inside my patients stop me from practicing. You're like, was there not anybody else that they could get to hire for the medical procedures? Yes, of course, plenty of qualified non-projectile vomiting surgeons out there. But I say, if you want the results, and when I say I'm good at stitching, like I don't mean like I make it look seamless or anything. And in fact, the stitches that I give leave a horrible mark or a scar, but I say that's the price of living a fully actualized, healthy life, and the experience, of course. Now, is the throwing up in the patient a little bit traumatic for them once they're under the knife on the, table, if you will, the surgery table, if that's what they call it? I believe that's what we call it in our field. Are they a little bit traumatized? Absolutely. Are their family members a little bit kind kind of like asking questions like, was this the best decision we've made? Could we have looked around for another doctor? And to answer that question, I always said, yes, of course. Yes, of course. But any look around, I say. I say that, I bring them in, I say, look at all these doctors in the other rooms doing procedures, all sorts of procedures. None of them are throwing up at the sight of blood, at the scent of blood. This guy's got a broken rib. We're gonna have to crack his rib cage open and go in there and fix his broken. Nobody's. And who's having a more memorable experience? Do you go off 15, 20 years later when you're sitting down with your children and your grandchildren and reminisce about the time that you went under the knife and had a regular surgery where everything went fine? Or do you bring up the lovely conversation with your relatives, loved ones, friends, acquaintances about the time that you went under the knife and the wonderful doctor who helped happened to have a weak stomach and threw up inside of you? Think about that. Which is more memorable? And that's when I say, sure, you could go out there and spend the money if you have the resources and get the medical procedures that you think are appropriate or standard procedure. But with this guy, memories are built. And it's not that I want to throw up. It does happen. And at the same rate, I'm thinking this will actually revolutionize medicine. Typically, the patient is supposed to be clean. There's not supposed to be any outside bacteria getting in, hence the washing of the hands. Low key, I don't even wash my hands. Low key, I throw up on purpose. Low key between you and I and everybody else out there on the interwebs. It's a crazy method that I came up with, and I said, hey, if we expose our patients a little bit to the outside forces, or a lot, what'll that do? And the results, they spoke for themselves. Again, a bunch of my patients happen to pass away relatively quickly or during the procedure, but luckily, we are insured. Luckily, there's always things we could point to when it comes to the patient and say, you know what, they didn't really have a good chance going in anyway, and it's not the fault of this caring doctor. One way I like to look at it is like, I'm not just a doctor, I'm not just a surgeon, I'm kind of like a mother bird. What difference is there between a mother bird and a surgeon who happens to throw up in his patients? Same vibes, really? Now, if I'm doing surgery on the face, it's more, of course, it's more, parallel because you're like, oh, okay, food from mouth to mouth. Yes, why not? Do surgery on the face, feed them at the same time. Make sure that they're fully energized and they've got and they don't need to chew. I think, but what if it's just in their bowels and I'm like, hey, you know what? Again, it's one way or another, they're getting some sort of food in their system. A lot of times, patients come out of surgery and they're like, no appetite. With me, you already got a whole stomach full of whatever I had. So yes, the moral of that story is sometimes when I'm doing surgery, I don't wash my hands. Do patients recover? More or less. Are there ones that don't come through? Absolutely. Who's to blame? For every finger we point at another person, there's 5, 6, 7, up to 10, depending on, if they're like a fully functioning, able-bodied person, potentially 10 more fingers pointing back to us. So I say, I don't blame the patients, and likewise, I'd make adequate, I get out of the country. Actually, I go to South America half the year so that they can't really locate me, and that's where I get my license kind of reissued if it's removed or, if they're coming after it. But nonetheless, things work out for the best, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Wednesday. It's back to school season. Get out there and learn some stuff, and get out there and teach some stuff too, like the stuff that or just put a chip in the people and just make them just download information so we could just get rid of schooling and teaching, or keep teaching and schooling too. That one's good for now. But also, I don't know what I'm talking about. And that doesn't change anything. It's Wednesday. And like we always say, where can you find these videos? On Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel if you like the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobsAdrian. I'll be back here again on Friday. In the meantime, peace out.